So the too long didn't read here, if you just want the quick update so you can go on to another video, is that everything was overturned quite quickly, actually. However, not everything was so much turned back on. So even though like the warning was removed, all the restrictions were removed, all my videos were left demonetized. Everything was left turned off. So I have to go back through and turn everything back on. But my account's back in the partnership program and all that. So I'll tell you. What do I think happened? It could have been timing, or it could have been coordinated. Before all this happened, I had a surge of commenters posting comments that I am inciting violence towards Mia Khalifa, that I was being Islamophobic. So, you know, the phobics, the is, they were throwing in all that stuff, encouraging attacks, all that. And then everything happened. So what I think happened, and we can only speculate because we don't actually know how the YouTube algorithm works. And that's probably a good reason, and I'll explain why. Is that a bunch of her fans probably caught wind, like one person saw my video and then shared it with other fans, probably on like a social media platform somewhere. They started attacking me, and then someone happened to report my video. And so what I'm guessing is when you get reported, I'm going to theorize that there's a bot that goes through and it checks out your video content and checks out the comments. And if it sees a trend for certain keywords being used, it compares it to the title of the video and any hashtags, that it does a takedown of the video until it can be removed. Now, this could have been a timing thing, or it could have been coordinated. Like they could have planned like, oh, we're going to post these comments, throw in these right keywords, and then one or more of us is going to report the video, and with any luck, the bot will take it down. And I said earlier that we don't know how this system works exactly at YouTube. It's a mystery. It's probably a good thing. If people knew exactly how this system worked, they would probably exploit it a lot more. But that's my guess. People were using the right combination of words and then a report, and then I got hit. I pretty much guessed it was a bot because I've had, this is not my first takedown. I've had people, I know people that have spent days having a video reviewed. So usually you get this email from YouTube saying it was manually reviewed. And you're like, yeah, there's no way you could have manually reviewed this. And I'll cover that more. Why? And then they appeal it. Like I think Valiant Renegade's going through that right now. They appeal it and it takes days to review. Now, I think bot takedowns are usually appealed a lot faster. In my case, I think I've dealt mostly with bot takedowns, because all the appeals that I've done over the years have been turned over pretty quickly, within a matter of hours at times. So this is nothing new for me. Let me jump over here. Let me pull up the screen. I covered this before in a previous video. This is my original channel, which I've talked about in the past. And yeah, I pretty much abandoned it. You know, my last upload went live 11 months ago. This is my passion project. This is what I originally joined YouTube to do. This is what I actually wanted to get monetized and make a career at. I was inspired from this channel right here, 4K Relaxation Channel. I used to watch this all the time when I worked at Lucasfilm. You know, I was just always in that basement office working. I had an iMac on the side. Most people didn't have an iMac. Long story how I ended up with an iMac. They were cleaning out one room full of computers, and IT got a hold of me and said, hey, this belongs to the animation division. I was like, well, no one uses iMacs. Like, well, the label on it says it it belongs to animation. You want to take it? It's like, all right, I'll take it. And I had this iMac in my office, and what I did was I streamed this content all day long. I was always inside working, and this just gave me kind of motivation for whenever I'd get time off to get back outside again. And at one point, while streaming this, when I decided I wanted to leave, one of the big reasons was I wanted to start doing this. I was like, you know what? I was learning about YouTube monetization. I was like, this guy's looks like he's making a living doing this. I can do this, right? I love hiking. I love outdoors. I got some okay cameras, but I could stand upgrade a little bit. This is what I want to do. I want to do something that I think could like make me bulletproof from being canceled. Like I won't have my name or my face on it. No one's going to know who I am. It's really innocent content. You can't get reported for this stuff. No one will know anything about me in person, so I can't be personally targeted and associated with this content. And it can be great passive income. I thought, yeah, this is really what I want to do. So now the film, got a tech job, paid more money, upgraded my cameras, and started getting out there and creating my own content. I had to kind of think about the branding and the name, the logo for a while, doing all this on my own, but started working on my content. And granted, there was a lot of room for improvement in how I shot my content, what time of the year I shot it, how I record the audio, all that. I've been at this for quite a while. In fact, I'd always had just kind of passion just for going out in nature. You see like my oldest videos I was still at Lucasfilm when I made these. I was going out and just shooting animals, not shooting, video, shooting animals and having a good time and enjoying the outdoors. I remember this fun one of these river otters. I set up a remote camera. I was trying to capture river otters would always play on this rock. I'd see them from a distance, so I set up some remote cameras to be closer. I wanted to capture some tighter, more intimate footage, and they were really suspicious of the camera. They're very curious creatures. I really loved just being out and just shooting and doing this stuff, and this was like the best therapy I ever had in my life. So this is just a really great memory of being out there. So, a lot of this content, it was very personal to me, something I really enjoyed. And you see that the durations that started going up from as I got more comfortable with shooting, what I needed for equipment. I realized I needed more battery power, more storage. The videos would get longer and longer and longer. Getting up into the, now we're getting in the 2 hour bracket, and then they start getting to 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, and so on. So these videos, sometimes they were easy locations to get to. Like even during the pandemic, I was like in the backyard, just shooting the bird feeders in my backyard, just for excuse to make content. A lot of locations. It was they could be work to get to. So I'd have to get a backpack, all the camera gear, audio gear, extra power, hike it out to where I was going, spend the whole day out there shooting. So I have to bring, food, water, anything I need, just stay out all day shooting. Get home, it'd be a couple weeks of editing. For like the 8 hour videos, overnight rendering. Then uploading would take about a week. The videos were, I think you could go up to 250 gigs, I think is the upper limit for uploading to YouTube. And is it 250 or 225? I can't remember off the top of my head. So I had a target of about, 220 gigs was the size of the output video. And then what I had to do was to avoid crushing the bandwidth in my house for the internet, because we both worked remotely at home. In Chrome, Google Chrome, there's a way to set up a different network profile where you can actually limit your outgoing bandwidth. So I would use Chrome to upload to YouTube, and I would set a custom profile that would limit to probably 2x dial-up speed. It's pretty slow. And I would upload like that. And it would take, a week-ish to upload all that to YouTube. So then I finally got my content on YouTube. Then processing time. To process like an 8-hour 4K video would take about a week. Okay. Now I can usually tell videos processed. If you haven't posted to YouTube ever, let me show you what it looks like in the dashboard. Many of you probably seen this before, but those of you that haven't, when your video is processing or it's completed, you're going to have this video quality section right here. You see this says SD, HD, 4K. These are grayed out when that resolution is processing. And you see when it's done, it's not grayed out. And if I mouse over it, it says 4K complete. So what happened is almost half the time is the 4K video would complete processing. And then if it worked, I would actually see it on the page right here when I went to quality. Okay. What was happening quite often was that everything HD and above, even the standard definition, would turn up missing. The only option that would be available here would be the 360p. That's it. Everything above would be missing. So I would put in support tickets to YouTube. And they say, oh, 4K video takes a while to process. Like, I get that. But it says it's processed. Like, oh, just wait a little bit longer. Basically, YouTube would not act or do anything until it had been about 6 months to a year. Because then I'd put another support ticket. What I mean by support ticket, a freaking Twitter post, because that's the only place they respond to support is on Twitter. I'd be like, hey, it's been 6 months since 4K processing completed, and my video still doesn't come up, and I'd have to give them screenshots and all that. And I'd have to make sure I use the right words. It's been, 6 months since the 4K completed. It's still not available on the video. 100% of the time, after they acknowledge the tweet, within 24 hours, I'd get a response saying, all right, you're good to go. Your all HD and 4K versions should be up momentarily. And okay. And yeah, it was. So go through all that. Now we're waiting time at the least to be 6 months, if not a year. Because I had them a few times. It was like 5 or 6 months, and I would tweet at them and they would just not respond. Or actually a few times they told me just to wait longer. So I waited a year, and then after it had been a year, they really had no excuse for that. So let's say in a perfect world, it was only 6 months. I would go through all that, plus the shooting time, editing time. So now we're about 7 months of wait time to get a video online. It's finally online, and I wake up to one day to a email saying we've taken down your video for violation of community guidelines for hate speech, racist content, whatever, usually around hate speech or violent content. Like, what? And this happened probably a dozen or so times on this channel. This content, waterfalls. This one of the Bison was taken down. They didn't actually let me appeal this one. They never said why. They said there's no strike against your channel, but you can't appeal this. So I deleted it. I waited 6 months, re-uploaded it, and it's been fine. And all this is bison grazing in Lamar Valley at Yellowstone National Park. That's all it is. That is all. Okay. This is really demotivating, right? This is something I actually was very passionate about. I cared a lot about, that I wanted to do, want to make a living out of. And there's all these videos on YouTube, like, how to avoid getting strikes, how to avoid getting demonetized, how to avoid all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm reading or watching these videos. I'm like, I'm not doing any of this. Any of this. I once paid for a year of vidIQ, the premium service. It came with consultation. And I did like the 2-hour consultation. The guy gave me a bunch of advice. You should do this with your channel. Try this with your thumbnails. I said, okay, what can I do to avoid getting warnings, having videos taken down? He's like, what do you mean? And I had one of these was actually in the process of being investigated. I think, was it that falls? Actually, no, I think it's one of these right here. It was a few years back. And he was like, I have no idea why that's happening. That doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, it's just white noise, right? It's just waterfall and white noise. He didn't understand why. And so this was really demotivating. It started to become a little bit of a problem while I was working on this channel, you know, the knee pain channel that you're all watching me on now that you became familiar with me. I started having a few problems there as well at around the same time that some of these videos were getting hit. I felt like this was becoming a personal attack. Let me bring over this tab. So I had a series of older videos I did of just doing bird photography. I'd go down, they're not loading right now. Oh, that's because my internet went offline. Let's wait just a moment. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. Looks like AT&T was rebooting its fiber optic servers. All right, so I had a collection of shorts I was going out after work to the local park, just go out for a little bit and just do some bird photography. 2 of these were hit with the community guidelines violation for violent content. They got overturned very quickly. Like I got the notification like on my phone. I'd be out eating. I would appeal it. And then by the time I get home, it would be overturned. I started just feeling like there's a trend. Like because my main channel, even though everything was overturned, I felt like it seemed like anything related to my content was getting flagged. Like there's some sort of server somewhere that was monitoring my content and just dinging me for anything. I don't know. It just felt targeted. It really felt targeted. I don't know how to explain it. I could not understand how content that wasn't me talking about my opinions or anything, just nature, would trigger any kind of bot. It didn't make any sense. It just feels like once the bots had hit my channels a few times, they were just going back and just randomly hitting channels. That's what it honestly felt like. When I stopped posting this channel, I stopped having problems on knee pain. Like no more of these shorts got hit. Nothing else got hit. So it's been a while since anything happened. But I announced in previous videos that I'd given up on this channel. Like I was just burned out on dealing with this. This was tiring. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. YouTube, I'd send in like support emails saying, please tell me what I did wrong. And all I would get was the template response like, oh, just please follow our guidelines and you won't have any problems. Like I'm following all your fucking guidelines and I'm having lots of problems. Nobody can tell me what I'm doing wrong. Nobody. Very irritating. So nothing's happened in a long time until last week. Why this hit differently and probably a little more painful was, now I have more subscribers. I actually got monetized, even though I never had intended to monetize this channel. This channel here is one I actually had wanted to make into something. Now I don't care anymore. And so it felt like I finally have a channel that's growing. Then I get hit because a bunch of simps for a porn star don't like opinions against their favorite actress. But then I started having like feelings like, am I going to go through on this channel? I went through on my V&W Films channel. Is this going to happen here? Right. Something that actually concerned me. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go through this again. Like, it's making me nervous to upload anything, even right now. You know, the title of this video, like, I'm nervous. I'm going to get hit again. Because I dare have an opinion. I dare have a thought. There's Rumble. I've been trying to, anything I upload to here, I upload to Rumble's backup. But as Valiant Renegade said, like, you don't have near the audience on Rumble. Nowhere near the audience. And definitely not the monetization. You make nothing off Rumble. If anything, you spend money on Rumble. I like that I can upload to Rumble and not really worry. But to be honest, it's like, if that's costing me, you know, the money that I made off YouTube, I'm spending it on Rumble. The payoff's not there. It really isn't. And there's no real good competitor to YouTube. Real competitor, unfortunately. Morally, I think Rumble is better, right? Business-wise, monetization-wise, they just, and everyone has said this, everyone agrees and they're right. It's just not there. Yet, I like to think it would be. You know, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to keep trying to make Rumble, maybe Rumble-specific content when it's maybe more opinion-related, to be like, okay, this is not going on NeedPay, and I'll put this on Rumble. I won't ever make anything off this, but at least I can put it up somewhere that I don't have to fear as much of a cancel squad coming after me. But I'm a little bit gun shy to start just uploading again to this channel based on what happened on my previous channel. You know, is the algorithm, the algo, is the bots, are they watching me now like they were before? Is this video going to get hit? You shouldn't have to worry about these things as a content creator. YouTube, though, is such an awful platform the way they run. You know, you're in the partner program, right? When you're monetized, in case you don't know this, when you're monetized, you're part of the partner program. You're the partner. How they treat their partners, content creators, is abysmal. And Valiant Renegade covered this. And I've talked about this in other videos. When you get a video taken down, they don't tell you specifically what you did wrong. You have to guess what you did wrong. Basically, if you applied these principles to a job as a manager, if I put somebody on a PIP without telling them what they did wrong, they probably have grounds to sue the company, right? The things that YouTube does to its, quote, partners, one is a really lousy way to treat your partner. Two, would not be legal to do to employees. They get sued to no end. But YouTube, you know, they get away with it because they can, because they're a monopoly, and they're frankly a horrid, evil organization, which is depressing because content creators don't really have a lot of good options. I mean, yeah, I can put up on Rumble. I'll still put things on Rumble. I've tried to do on X. I don't really get X as a platform, though, for video content creators. Elon's got to figure this out a little bit better, make it worthwhile. I think Twitch is a dumpster fire, absolute garbage, and kicking a lot of those streaming specific platforms, especially around gaming and other content. Those communities are really vile, really toxic. So unfortunately, we're just stuck with YouTube. I'm stuck with having to deal with this and not knowing what the future is going to hold. What videos I'm going to bring back from the past few months, because I fear being taken down and not being told what I did wrong. You know, when I was married back in the Marine Corps, my wife would get mad at me and not tell me what I did wrong and storm off to her mother's house for a week. And then expect me to apologize, but not tell me what I did wrong. This actually happened quite a few times. One of the occasions was, actually, I'll tell you two of them that I knew about, and I didn't figure this out after the fact. One happened, we were in the mall. She was in some woman's clothing store, and I, like a lot of the husbands, we'd sit out by the fountain. You know, it's like, I'm not going in that. So I'm just sitting by the fountain. She comes storming out of the department store. furious, red in the face, angry, storms off to the parking lot with the car, not telling me what happened. I'm like, I have no idea what happened. We get there. She's ignoring me. She calls her girlfriend, has her girlfriend pick her up, take her to her mother's house, doesn't speak to me for a week. What happened was that there was apparently a really hot, scantily dressed woman in the department store. My ex saw her, became self-conscious, and then was worried that if that woman walked out and I saw her, that I would want to fuck her. So she got mad at me because I might lust after this woman, stormed out, and then left me for a week. The second time was her same friend that had took her to her mom's, our neighbor. Her friend had a dream. You ever hear little stories or like on social media, people make jokes about it? Because it does happen where the wife or the girlfriend has a dream that he cheated on her in the dream, and she gets mad at him and she's trying to justify it. So this goes a step further. My ex-wife's girlfriend had the dream that I cheated on my ex-wife, told my ex-wife, my ex got mad. And again, then she left me for like 2 or 3 weeks. She was gone for a while. Basically, at one point, her dad brought her back. Like there's a knock at the door. I opened the door and her dad's standing there and he told her to grow up, and he just shook my hand and walked off. Like he was tired of hearing about it. So I guess basically when he found out what happened and he said, well, what did your husband say? She goes, well, I didn't tell him. That's when he was like, all right, I'm not dealing with this. You need to grow up. But both times I had no idea why she left. And I was still expected to apologize for things I hadn't done. Well, first I was expected to apologize for something I had no idea what I did. Then when I found out what I could have done, I was supposed to apologize for something I could have done. And I found out the reasoning. I still wouldn't apologize for that. So we went to marriage counseling and I explained it to the counselor. Remember the counselor said, he goes, first off, you have to communicate to someone immediately if they've done something to hurt you. It's like, even if he had done something, which he hadn't, you have a responsibility to communicate to him immediately what he did that crossed the line that hurt you. Because otherwise, this is a toxic relationship. So take note of that, YouTube. My marriage counselor said, if you're not telling the other person what they've done wrong, but you hold it against them, you're being toxic. It's kind of, in some ways, it's gaslighting, you know? So in some ways, like being on YouTube kind of feels like when this stuff happens, it feels like I'm back with my ex-wife. That's what it feels like, YouTube. You feel like my ex-wife. That's not a compliment. Okay, in case you thought it was, it's not a fucking compliment. So, anyways, I just want to make the video address. So things are, I can turn things back on, and I'm turning some things back on. But now I'm thinking a lot about what I want to turn on, how I want to run this. I was going to move content to another channel, like start another channel new. I'm worried I might move problems over there. Like, I don't know. Right? I'm just trying to figure this out. But I think some of my content where I dare have an opinion will probably have to go on Rumble. Make it a little bit harder to be canceled. And just figure out what I'm going to do on this platform. So I'm still here. You'll still see me around. I just don't know in what context you're going to see me around. I got to figure this out. It's frustrating. So, well, everyone, happy Monday. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.